All right, Coach, weekend sweep over one of the better teams in the country. What changed for your guys at the plate this weekend that made you guys so successful?
Like I said, baseball is a very weird sport, and it's a sport that deals with a lot of momentum. It's a sport that deals with a lot of internal, sometimes internal grief, some internal optimism. I think really it came down to the first 4 innings of Friday's game. We were pretty much swinging the bats like we were the previous 10 games. And then next thing you know, we run into a ball, and then it kind of just opened things back up. And I think guys played freer with more confidence, and all the credit to our team, because I think in terms of the offense, the defense, and then the pitching, the whole weekend I think was really awesome. And that's just a tribute to, like I said before, these guys are awesome kids. They work hard, and it's about keeping their mentality and their mind right so that they can come out and play to their capability.
You talked about pitching. Brett carried a no-hitter into the 5th inning today. Are we starting to see a different gear from him?
Yeah, I think so. He was dealing a little bit of some stuff early in the year, and I think he's pitching with a little bit different attack plan now. We kind of changed things a little bit, but Marcelo Perez did the same thing. I think he gave up his first hit in the 5th inning. So we talk about it all the time. You're starting pitching. If we can keep him off the scoreboard and give our offense a chance to just play their style, that's always going to be a recipe for success. And so we got that with Cornelio, we got that with Perez, and we got that with Walker. So that's more like it. Put it that way.
Eli had 5 RBIs tonight. A little bit of a quiet series, only 1 hit until today.
Yep.
What do you think of his perseverance in this series?
Sure. You always have to be ready for the next at bat, and I thought, him coming up and that base hit earlier in the game up the middle with 2 outs to score a run, and then coming up with that huge double, I think it was in the 7th inning or the 8th inning. So you never know which at bat is going to be the one that, Michael Jordan always used to say, I couldn't wait for my next shot when I missed the one before because I'm due. Or the same thing with Derek Jeter. If he's in a slump, he can't wait for his next at bat because he knows his talent level and he knows I'm due to get a hit. And I think the main thing with Elijah is, yeah, he maybe didn't have the greatest start to the weekend, but he kept going up there giving us good at-bats, and he's only, he's 1 at-bat away from having 5 RBIs and having a great day.
When you look at a weekend like this and around the Big 12, some other teams lost some games that maybe were unexpected. What's the message to your guys moving forward about how wide open the conference is?
You know what? I'd love to have Coach Dixon, and I'll probably text him here, have him come in and talk to our team in terms of going through the gauntlet of Big 12 play in basketball. I attribute it really to the same thing here. TCU beats Kansas. We played a lot of really good games throughout the whole year and got to almost to the Sweet 16, right? But in terms of that, it's like you just got to be gritty. You got to gut it out, and you never know. There's no easy weekend. As you look in our conference and the scores over the first 15 or 14 games of the conference schedule, anybody can beat anybody. So I'll probably get Coach Dixon, if you ever see this Coach Dixon, get you on in front of the team here coming up just to talk about just the grit and the determination, the grind through a Big 12 season. It's very difficult, but that's half the fun.
When you look at the next couple of weekends, you got big weekends at Oklahoma State and at Florida State. What's the key to kind of maintaining the success now on the road?
Well, I think ultimately it comes down to what the players were about this weekend. They've done a really good job in terms of taking over, being a player-led team and being able to be self-motivated and understand they know what it takes to win. And I thought really even last week, and I think we talked about it in the Texas series, even though we only won 1 game, I thought it was headed in the right direction. And then you move to this weekend where I thought they took where they were headed, and then also a couple other thoughts that we talked about and turned it into kind of the way we have to play. I mean, it doesn't really matter who you play. You can lose to anybody and you can beat anybody. It's about showing up with some grit and some determination to play just that game and that day and that pitch and that inning, all the cliche stuff, but ultimately that's what it is.
A few weeks ago, you talked about limiting mistakes being the key to winning ball games. What are your thoughts, especially on the defense, kind of being aware and especially on the shift and just getting the job done?
Yeah. Well, I think, too, when you're not swinging the bats very well and then there is a miscue, it's almost over-amplifies it just because, man, we really needed that because we're not swinging the bats well. And then when you come out and you swing the bats the way we're capable of, some of those miscues might not hurt as much. There's still miscues, but in terms of like our defensive planning with Coach Winkler, Kirk, myself, John DeLara, Kevin Knight, Coop and Coach Mo, we spend a lot of time going over where we're going to defend these guys and where we're going to position them. And I thought the whole weekend really was a really good job of being in the right spots. Being in the right spots defensively, where we did a good job on the infield defense in terms of being where they're going to mostly, the numbers say they're going to hit it.
Being in the right spots and then having a guy at third base who
He's
can
a
do
good
what
player.
Braden did.
It's always good to have a good player.
Yeah. Is that something that you've almost come to expect from him?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I do. He's been solid as he can be over there, and the hardest part was actually him probably trying to get up and having to make that throw. The easy part was probably him getting in his glove, and then the hard part is trying to get your feet underneath you. That's a long throw, and so he's worked really hard with Coach Mo in terms of becoming a really, really good defender at third base, and it shows.
So Savage's shoe drive also going on today.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on his impact in the community?
Yeah, I heard he got 200 more athletic shoes to be able to distribute down to the Dominican Republic. Mm-hmm. You can't say enough. He does it on the field, he does it off the field. He's a 4.0 kid in the classroom, so it's like, he's kind of like, okay. Mm-hmm. I have a 14-year-old son. I'm like, hey, watch how Luke Savage goes about life, So, yeah, he's a phenomenal kid and comes from a great family. But yeah, it says a ton in terms of, and the great thing is just the people that we've had reach out and know about his story. UTA, donated a bunch of cleats when we played over there last week, and so, everywhere we go, I think it's been a really great. People, enjoy helping out, and I think, obviously Luke does a phenomenal job with getting the word out there and having a great platform.
Yeah.
All right.